Okay, so we're going to start with an assisted plank. So Pablo's going to come down under his own support and safety onto the floor, and he's going to have his palms facing in the way and his elbows aligned and his knees on the floor or the mat. And at this point, he's going to turn his pelvis up and in. It's a pelvic tilt. If you're unsure about this, just imagine this area, your body's a satellite dish, and you want to point your satellite dish up to the sky. That will allow you to get the right position. And that really activates the core and the glute muscles. Pablo sucks his belly button in, and he squeezes in this position. He's not just in this position holding it for endurance. He's squeezing, activating the muscles around the centre of his body, known as the core muscles. So this is an assisted plank on the knees, an assisted plank. Okay, to be able to take that to the more advanced level, he just pops himself up onto his toes, and he'll bring his feet close together, and he holds the same position. He has a lovely tuck here, a tuck underneath the pelvis. Give me a bit of disengage. There, we don't want this. Yeah, we don't want this bum wink, as it's called. Yep, an external rotation of the pelvis. We want the pelvis to rotate internally, and we want to tuck up here and squeeze. He's rock solid. Could lick Nutella off his abs, I tell you. Thought about it quite a few times. Colin, take that out. Good, so this is the plank. Excellent. Okay, the next exercise we're looking at is the plank and assisted plank. So we're going to start with the assisted plank. Now what you see here is Pablo has a lovely side position. He's balanced on his elbow. And when he pops up, you'll notice that his elbow is right directly underneath his shoulder. Common fault number one is an elbow too far forward. We don't want this. Yeah, it's going to put too much pressure on the shoulder, the muscles in here, predominantly also the muscles underneath your shoulder called the rotator cuff. So we don't want that. We want the elbow tucked in, and we want it aligned so that when he pops himself up here into the assisted plank position, he's well supported underneath. Now, as he's here, he lifts up in through his ribs. You see that? That nice wee. That's important. His bum cheeks are pulled together, and he's pulled his belly button in, and he's squeezing. He's working in this position. He's not just holding it. It's not for endurance. He wants his core muscles to have to work. We're squeezing. We're coiling the muscles. He's lifting up through the ribs. We're causing that good contraction, getting the muscles tired, making them stronger. Okay, so from the assisted plank position, we can go into the full side plank position. Pablo prefers to have his feet side by side. Personally, I prefer my feet split. Now, it's up to you. You'll find what works for you. Yeah, go back to your one you like, mate. Pablo's going to pop himself up again. He's making sure his elbows are aligned underneath his shoulder. His hips are turned under and up, and he's in a nice line. He's tucked right, pulled right up into his ribs. He's got his bum cheeks pulled in nice and tight. He's got his belly button sucked in, and he's squeezing. This is a perfect example of side plank. Thank you, Pablo. Okay, so moving on to the next exercise, which is the split squat. And today we have two variations. The first variation is the pole-assisted split squat, and that's for the novice stroke beginner who are still working on developing their stabilising muscles, and it allows them to be able to carry out the exercise with a better range of motion while stabilising themselves on the pole. So that Pablo's going to demonstrate. He takes the pole and he works on the opposite leg. So whatever side the pole's in, he's going to squat on the opposite leg. Now, he's taking a lovely long stance here, because common fault number one is too short a stance. You're too short. You want to go nice and long. It's a bit like a traditional martial arts stance. You'll also notice that Pablo's feet are apart. His hips are square to the front. He's not on a tightrope. Because in this position, which is common fault number two, he's unstable. So, his feet are in the right position. The rear heel is pointed up to the sky, and he's gently supported with the pole. And he's going to execute the movement by sinking down and kissing the back knee off the mat and coming back out. As he comes back out, he pushes through the heel of the front leg. And his upper body's nice and straight. This is the pole-assisted split squat. Okay, the next variation is a split squat without a pole. Exactly the same. Pablo steps back in a nice long stance. He squares his hips off. He pulls his shoulder blades back, down and in. He pulls his belly button in, and he allows his body to sink down and kiss the knee off the floor and come back up. His head is nice and straight, and he's looking forward as well. He will be picking a point in front of him, focusing on it and allowing his body to stay as balanced and stable as possible. Excellent. Exercise number 2 is the jumping jack. Pablo will stand with his feet together and his arms by his sides. He'll jack out. Good, flattening the feet on the floor, making sure the heels come down, and he'll jack back in. Good, he allows his hands to come up to just above shoulder height. He jacks out and jacks in. On you go, mate. You alright? And 2. Okay, the next exercise is the push-up, or a variation of the push-up. Pablo's going to come down on his hands and knees. He's going to do the first variation, which is the box press-up. Okay, his hips are nice and high. He's going to allow his upper body to drop down to the floor. And he's going to push back off. So this is a box press-up. This would be for the novice and beginner. Okay, the next adaptation or advancement of this exercise, Pablo walks his hands forwards a little. He allows his hips to come down, and what he's looking for is his shoulder and his hip and his knee are in line. He sucks his belly button back, he pulls his bum cheeks together, he lowers his body to the mat, and he pushes his hands through the floor and comes back up. You do 2 more reps. Excellent, and 1 more. Okay, so that's the assisted press up. Okay, the next variation is what we call a push off. Pablo come up onto his toes. He allows his body under control to come all the way down onto the mat. Under control, resting on the mat, working on what we call the eccentric part of the muscle contraction, or the negative part of the repetition. The lowering part, he's doing it under control. He comes back up to the top position under his own support and safety. And he does another repetition. Control, 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 pause, and then back up. And he's going to do 1 more. Excellent. And the last variation, or variation number 4, is this the standard push-up. It's a push-up because you push up off the floor. You're not lifting off the floor. Pablo travels through a full range of motion. He brings his chest down to the floor. The chin is protruding forward slightly to allow for a full range of motion. And he drives his hands through the mat, continuously contracting all parts of his body, sucking his belly button in, squeezing his glutes, and also using the thighs. Excellent demonstration, Pablo. Thank you very much. Okay, the next exercise we're going to look at is the leg drive, or the sprint start. The leg drive is the first variation, and this is for the novice stroke beginner. Pablo comes down into the press-up position. He makes sure that his hips are down in alignment and just slightly down in line. It's a lovely line. It's a line between the shoulder and the hip, the knee and the ankle. And what he's going to do here, he's just going to bring 1 foot in and tap and back out. Just touch the toe. 1 foot in and touch and back out on the other side. Now, you can see he's driving his legs in and out. At this point, his belly button's sucked up and in. He's staying nice and strong in the core muscles. So this is the first variation. This is a leg drive. Now we're going to advance it slightly, and we're going to do what's called a sprint start. Pablo's going to start to work his knees in and out. And in this variation, he doesn't touch the mat with the toe. He drives the legs in and out, nice and fast, and it's called a sprint start. Excellent, Pablo. Thanks. You okay, G? Okay, so the next exercise we're looking at is a WYT. Pablo's lying in a prone position in a dorsal raise. That means his shoulders are up off the floor. He has his chin tucked under. It's not protruding forward because that's a common fault. Push your chin forward, mate. We don't want that. We want the chin down and tucked in. His bum cheeks are pulled together. He's strong in the core and he's holding this position. And his hands are in what they call the W position. It's a shape. From W, he's going to extend out to Y. Good, nice full extension. He's going to pull back into W. And then he's going to spread them across to T. Excellent. Now, common fault number one with T, come back to W please, Pablo, is the arms too far back. So people go out to T and they're too far back. Yeah, too far back is just because you can't see. So what you want to do when you go out to T is you want to just spread them up slightly and across. Lovely. Perfect. So W to Y and W to T. Excellent, Pablo. Thank you.
Today I'll be demonstrating the banded hip thrust. So what you'll need is your band, and we're going to put this on just above the knees, grabbing a seat on the floor. So let's have a look. See, placing it on, we're focusing on the muscle groups around about the glutes and the hamstrings here. Now, as I lie back, feet hip to shoulder width apart, hands by my sides. I push my feet into the floor, tucking my pelvis under so there's no space between my lower back and the ground, and I'm curling the pelvis towards my chin, behind my head. Maximally squeeze my glutes as hard as I can, controlling down under tension. I do not allow the knees to come in. I keep tension against the band the whole way through, so my hips, knees and ankles are all staying in a nice straight line, maximally contracting the glutes, keeping the tension on them the whole way through.
Okay, moving on to the band overhead press. So Pablo has a nice handled a resistance band. He's going to stand in the middle of the band with 2 feet. And he's going to have a wee bit of distance between his feet. He's then going to, under his own support and safety, bring the bands up to shoulder height. Nice, good, full grip. Elbows tucked into the front. And then Pablo's going to pull his belly button in, squeeze his glutes together, open the elbows out and extend the arms up in a full overhead press and come back in. You'll notice a lovely range of motion and good control. With the band, we're getting resistance on the way up and on the way down. Nice, good, fluent, controlled press. Excellent, Pablo. Good. So, we're going to look at the down up. Pablo's going to squat down to the floor and support himself on his hands. Now, Pablo has good bottom range mobility in the squat. What you might find is that you're a wee bit further forward with your hands and you're a wee bit up on the fingertips, just a wee bit higher on the toes. So, you come down and you're supported and you extend one foot out and then the other foot goes out. And you're in a wide-footed press-up position. Now, as Pablo steps back in, he's going to step back in wide. Look, he's wide. He brings his foot as close to his hand as he can. And the other side, good, and he comes back up. Now, if your mobility doesn't allow you, your hip mobility yet doesn't allow you to get your foot back in, Pablo will go back down into the bottom position, the full extension. And you might only get like halfway in, a bit further back if you can, dude. Good, and then other side, and just walk your hands back. And you just walk your hands back until your heels come onto the floor. So there's different ways. Your coach will guide you through this and make sure that you've got the correct variation. So that's the down up and the different adaptations for it. Standard British military burpee. Not the floppy stuff and wobbly, sneaky, whatever like exercise that you see people doing. This is the British standard military burpee, executed properly. Pablo comes down to the floor, he finds his hands, he kicks his feet back into a standard press-up position, he jumps his feet back in, squats down and he stands back up. Again, he squats down, he kicks out, he jumps in and jumps up. Good. And one more, just because we can. Excellent.